Hello, we are Anni Puolakka and Erika Roux. We are artists and we made a collaborative work called Vanitas, a video that was shown as part of the Suggestive Body group exhibition at the Konstmuseet in Norr. So at first we're gonna tell a little bit about ourselves. Erika, would you like to start?
Yes, my name is Erika Roux. I'm an artist based in Rotterdam. I work mostly with video, and I've worked with different formats, from documentary approach to more scripted work. So my work is interested in looking at situations and spaces which in which people redefine the terms and conditions for production, collaborations, and more recently political struggle. So I'm looking at social spaces that questions current hegemonic forms of performing and the power structures around it. Yes, so that's it. Your turn, Anni.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Anni, and I also work a lot with video, and often videos become part of installations that might include sculptures and paintings and other forms of art. I also work with performance. Also, there's been a long break now from doing performances. And thematically, my work often deals with topics or questions that somehow spring from my personal life and experiences and issues that somehow bother me or pull me towards them. For example, human and non-human animal relationships are something that often appear in my work. And also I try to look around me and see what's there when I'm coming up with ideas for new work. What kinds of spaces and questions and situations are there around me, and how can I somehow inspect them or explore them through making art. Okay, shall we talk about our video work that is part of the exhibition at the moment at Konstmuseet in Norr. So Vanitas, what is it about? Do you want to?
Maybe we can start by saying that it was made when we were still living. When you were still living in Rotterdam, I'm still living there, but we were living in the same town in Rotterdam.
Yeah.
And maybe the starting point was the building itself, I would say. That
yeah.
You were, yeah. The building was what is called the anti-crack, so like right? It was. There are organizations that prevent squatting by renting in quite precarious conditions for a low price a part of a building. And the building was, there were maybe like out of 14 floors, there were 3 floors that were occupied by those so-called anti-squat organization. You would have your studio there.
Yeah, so it was this huge tower building in the middle of the center of Rotterdam that was mostly empty, and we somehow wanted to use it and kind of consider the question of idleness or uselessness, both in human lives, but also in places that humans have created, like, for example, empty office buildings. And I think that there's a lot of cities where you have office space that's unused or empty because they're, for example, in this case, they were looking for a buyer, and that process just took many years. So they'd rather have the building empty and unused than give it to people to use for free.
Yeah. And also, I think that there was a desire from both of us to work together and combine our approach to video making. Yours that was, more scripted or with a lot of, also with a certain maybe aesthetic, and mine that was very different in a way, but and more spontaneous and with improvisation and some documentary approach or qualities at times. So that we wanted also through this work to join like different considerations we had around video and also to learn from each other.
And we had studied together in Rotterdam. That's why we were both living there. And as Erika said, we wanted to kind of learn methods from each other and see what kind of a result they could produce together. And then we had 3 human characters in the video. And then we also considered this office building, one of the characters. And all of those human or ghost characters maybe were somehow searching for meaning, I think, in their lives while they were in the building, in the elevator, in the corridors, or just kind of sitting in these empty spaces while kind of having these reflections on what's going on in their lives. And we had this idea that all of them would currently be unemployed and somehow searching for meaning for their existence and activities.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them is a singer, an opera singer. One of them has been an astronaut and now is a what-naut. One of them is a gamer, and then we have this building that's also unemployed. And
I think that's also where our practices join, is the personal aspect of that personal elements or autofictive elements are coming in the script, or the way the characters were conceived was with a lot of stories that would come up from personal experience and questions we had about our practice also as artists, or we were also because all the characters or the actors are actually also artists or real singer. So it was a mix between all those real jobs or like maybe questions that our generation is having around work and anxiety, or so. And then we worked on the text together. You had maybe a bit more of an influence on the text, but we were like together working on text that would have all those questions, and I think there is a sort of poet, like we were trying to make it a bit more poetic, and like the work on the text was quite important. And at the same time, we were also coming up with improvised improvised exercise on the spot, and each person were reacting to the different rooms and of the building in a very improvised manner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's this certain haunted atmosphere, I think, in the work, because of that huge empty building kind of emitting that kind of strange energy, and all the events that might have happened there when it was active. Maybe to wrap up, we could say something about the name and how we were also inspired by these historical paintings that were popular in the Netherlands some hundreds of years ago. So Vanitas is like a genre of painting that was supposed to deal with the kind of ephemeral nature of life, and how there are all these things to enjoy in life, like food or art or so on, but it's all kind of everything shall pass at some point. So that was one. This is like a kind of contemporary form or take on that thematic that those paintings used to explore.
Yeah, and also this feeling that humans might pass also, and kind of vision that, maybe that human labels at first might disappear, but also human itself shall pass. So that was maybe also one of the influence we had on the Vanitas. They might rot and like the rest. And I also like a very strong memory I have from the shooting itself was that this is a bit different subject now, but like I also think it's nice to mention how the whole film was shot kind of illegally, or like because we were not allowed to shoot. Many people approached the landlord of the building to ask if like big TV channel wanted to use the space as a decor for films, and it was refused all the time, and we had to shoot really early in the morning, and so that was one of the most guerrilla filming experience for me, which was quite interesting to have to wake up at 4 before anybody is entering the building, that was quite, and hiding, that was also quite nice.
And then the morning fog became part of the video as well, that we had because we started shooting the video so early. Hey, thanks for listening to us, and hope you enjoy watching the video as well.
Thank you.